All right, Dark Souls enthusiasts, as of this podcast, as of this release, we now have the complete picture, the complete delivery of the various expansions, the core for Dark Souls, the board game. We're taking that Dark Souls experience from the digital, porting it over to the analog. We're going to get good really, really fast. And then in the comments, I'm going to turn it over to you guys. But what I wanted to focus on, because now with the expansions and the mega bosses and the character packs, this opens up the entire range of the universe. So what is the acquisition schedule going to look like as we prioritize what, in your opinion, would be the expansions to purchase, in what order, and how to maximize the most play as we work our way through? Naturally, of course, we're going to need the core. Like every board game experience, the core is going to get you started. It's going to give you those starting character classes, the dice, the components. Branching out from there, my first acquisition, and this is interesting because usually with a board game, the first acquisition would be additional character packs, giving you more character classes, more heroes to play. And Dark Souls has the character pack, and we want to move on that. But what I would recommend first is either the Dark Root or the Iron Keep. These are kind of separate areas to explore. They're going to give you new items. They're going to give you new minions to fight, and they're going to give you some new bosses to fight. That's going to layer over really, really nicely over the core set. It's going to open up new areas to explore. It's going to open up new tactics. It's going to open up new gear. The core set comes with the 4 starting heroes, right? The Knight, the Warrior, the Assassin, and the Herald. That's enough to get started. You can play with 4 players, but if you play with 2 players or 3 players or even solo, you have enough diversity. The challenge, in my opinion, with the core box, and it has fantastic value in the bosses that you're going to fight, the actual minions that you fight, they get there's a little bit of repetition in there. It's a good starting point, but the focus is on the bosses chewing through these minions to farm for souls. It's nice to have one of the expansions to now have something new to fight and new to explore. So that's the first thing that I would look at. Second would be the invaders and the summons. This pack now introduces that aspect to the game, and in my opinion, this pack-in has the most value, because the invaders and the summons, they just appear at random points. You can trade souls to kind of get one to fight for you. Okay, it opens up the tactics. You have to make decisions. Do I spend the souls on the gear, or do I kind of use it to fight? But likewise, the random appearance of the invaders, that randomness is kind of neat. It's kind of fun to explore. It adds an additional layer of combat and fighting. I think it's a really well implemented expansion, and that would be my next acquisition. From there, the characters. Because now we've got some more bosses to fight, we've got some more minions to fight, we've got summons. Let's loop back around and look at the various character classes to play and explore. The last on my list would be the mega bosses. Now, the mega bosses are amazing. The models are fantastic. They're huge. I'm not giving away any spoilers, but the tactica to fight them, they are some of the most epic showdowns that I have ever experienced. And being a board game enthusiast, the mega bosses come close. A similar experience would be fighting some of the mega bosses in Kingdom Death Monster. I mean, really, they're amazing to fight. The reason why I don't put them at the front in terms of acquisition, and look, eventually you're going to want to get all of them. The reason why I don't put them first in acquisition is that you fight them at the very end. You have to go through the minions first, then you go through the mini boss, then you go through the main boss, then you approach the mega boss. Because they're so powerful, you need that structure to push you through. That means not only do you have to complete a full game of Dark Souls, then you have an additional run through to play to begin to face them. So unless you're sitting down to commit to a full game, they're not going to hit the table as much. A great Dark Souls experience is to just fight the first wave boss. Just play through there. You can get that game in 40 minutes or so, or an hour or so. pushing out the mega bosses to the very last. That's how I would look at acquiring these expansions, and that would be my recommendation. Of course, with the idea of being a Dark Souls enthusiast, eventually you're going to acquire all of them for your collection, but certainly in terms of resources and being able to play through them and being able to approach them, that would be my strategy of how to do it.